and welcome to today's vlog Everyday in August video. Today I thought I would do a quick little review of this event I attended the other day, and what it was, it's called Sip and Script, and they are these calligraphy classes that are 2 hours, and they're usually held in a bar or a restaurant, where for 2 hours you have these girls teaching you the very basics of calligraphy. So I had been wanting to do this for a while, and I had a very hard time convincing anyone to go with me for two reasons. The first one is it's not cheap. It was $65 for the 2 hours. Now keep in mind this includes the material cost, and you get to keep the materials at the end of the class, which explains part of the why it's so expensive. And the other reason is that not everybody is into craftsy and like calligraphy, so it just ended up being down to whether or not I was going to attend by myself, and I decided that I wanted to try, so I was gonna go, even if I was going alone, which is extremely out of my comfort zone. I'm a very introvert person, and I always kind of struggle talking to people when I don't know absolutely like anyone. So yeah, I decided to step out of my comfort zone and attend the event by myself. So there were 3 girls that were there teaching calligraphy. It was very well organized, and I think they did a beautiful job at just pulling everything together. There were a fair amount of people. I don't know how many people there were exactly, but I would say close to 30 easily. And it was on a very small space, which, you know, makes it a little more challenging. But it was beautifully organized. We started shortly after the time we were supposed to, so we didn't start right on time because they gave a few more minutes for people who were running late, which I thought was nice. But how it works is that they kind of show you and explain to you how the different materials work, and then they have you practice. So let me show you what they gave to us. First of all, they gave us name tags that they did, which are very cute. Then they gave us this little envelope here. As you can see, it says Nips on it, and so inside here were two, I don't know if you're going to be able to see anything. There you go. Like the nibs for the pen, and obviously you have the pen, the nib holder. So they explain to you how to put it on, which is not very difficult. And they recommend to you that you start with the larger nib, which is a little easier. It's a little easier to manipulate and to kind of control the ink that comes out of it, because these are dip pens, so you have to dip in the ink and then draw. It's not as easy as it looks. Then they give you this cute little card with the hashtag in the back. These 2 cards with 2 different types of lettering on it. Then they gave us tracing paper, so a plethora of tracing paper, and this, which is your typical kind of calligraphy grid with the lines and then the diagonals so you can follow. So those are the materials that you start with, and so what they told us to do is to take the tracing paper and put the lines underneath to practice and to just go for it. And we did that for about the first hour, and once you've practiced and you kind of figure out how the ink flows, and they suggested that we test both nibs to see which one we would be more comfortable with, then they give you the like little actual like cardboard, like pretty paper from Paper Source, and they tell you to go ahead, go for it, and you know, do it on paper. So here are my horrendous first tries, which I actually didn't wait until the ink was dry to put them away, and as you can see, it's all bloated like everywhere. It's not very pretty, but they explain to you, yeah, this is a shame, like this completely smudged everywhere. But they explain to you at the very beginning that you shouldn't worry about it being perfect. This is a discipline that takes a lot of practice. Like anything, practice makes perfect. So you can't expect your first try to be, you know, wonderful and look like all those Instagram videos that we see every day. So they're very good about explaining that, and they kind of like say, if you know, if you've managed to have ink come out of your nib, you know, for 2 hours, that's already a great start. And then you'll have to practice when you get home and do it regularly to get to a level where it actually looks, you know, pretty. So that is kind of like the structure of the class. I greatly enjoyed it. I will say that if you've already done a little bit of calligraphy and you kind of know what it is and how it works, you might be bored because it's very, 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 very basic, and I would say it's definitely destined to people who have no clue what calligraphy is and how it works. The other critique that I would make is I personally would have liked having more of these with the lines and actually practicing on these rather than on tracing paper. And this is just my very personal opinion. The reason for that is because when you are using tracing paper doesn't absorb ink. It bloats. It's a lot harder to control the ink. It does have the benefit that once you move from the tracing paper to actual paper, it feels so much easier, and I wonder if that's why they do it that way. But I also was kind of hoping for more guidance on how to practice on, you know, the lines with the diagonals, to really learn how to trace the letters a certain way. But you know, it's only 2 hours, so there's only so much they can do. However, I will say I had a lot of fun, even though I was by myself. I was not the only one that was there by herself, so I sat next to people who were also alone and, you know, talked to them, and it was a lot of fun. I could definitely see this being awesome for like a girls' night out. So I would actually recommend people attend if they're interested in discovering calligraphy or just in having a fun girls' night out that might be a little different from just going to a bar and having some drinks. This was, like I said, very well organized. The girls that put this together do a beautiful job, and I don't regret whatsoever spending my money on this. But yeah, just those little things that I think people should be aware before they go into it, because you might be disappointed if you think that this might be a little more advanced. It's definitely very, very beginner oriented, so if you are afraid that this might be too complicated, don't. It's really extremely accessible, even if you don't know how to draw or if you think that your handwriting is terrible. They make it really, really accessible. So I hope this was helpful to anyone that might be looking or wondering if they want to spend their money on a sip and script class. Let me know in the comments below if you've taken calligraphy, if you have any tips and tricks on how to make it so there's not too much ink that comes out at once, because that happens to me all the time. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Bye!